Hey y'all, it's Thomasina. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thanks for tuning in. It's 2021, and I know there are a lot of you who still have hopes and dreams of maybe, possibly, potentially one day becoming a model, and I just wanted to give you guys some quick tips to help you on your journey, so let's jump right into it. So the first step that you want to take to attempt to get signed by an agency is do your research. A lot of people are on the outside looking in and they see what they think is like the glitz and glamour of being a model, but they really don't have a knowledge of what it takes to be a model. So I would just say do your research, understand the market, understand what kind of model you want to be, and what kind of model you could be. Within that research, you want to be looking for agencies that you may be interested in, agencies who you feel you'll work well with, who you feel represent other models that look like you. You want to look at their model board to see, do they have other black models on their board? Do they have other white models on their board? Do they have other Filipino models on the board? You really want to feel represented by whichever agency you're interested in. And when you're looking at these agencies, a lot of them will tell you what they're looking for in potential models, and so they will tell you what kind of digitals they're going to ask you for. They will tell you what kind of measurements they're asking for. So let's say some agencies may require models be 5'8" or taller. Some agencies may require like certain kinds of digitals. Some may require you to take your digitals in a swimsuit, or some may require you to be fully clothed. Just make sure you do that research beforehand, because it'll make it easier when you actually get into the process of taking digitals and making sure you have the right measurements and everything like that. The next step, after you've done your research, you want to take great digitals. I mean phenomenal digitals, because this is how you're going to get your foot in the door. When taking digitals as a beginner model, I would usually wear all black, because the black is the most flattering to your body, if that makes sense. Make it simple: black tank top, black jeans or black leggings, and like strappy heels. Hold on, let me show you what I'm talking about. Usually a strappy heel like this, but in black. I don't have the black pair with me right now, so yeah, just this. You want to make sure you're taking your photos in good lighting. You don't want any shadows on your face, but you also don't want to look washed out with too much artificial light. Most agencies recommend that you take your digitals in natural light. Also, you want to make sure you have a plain background when taking your digitals. Usually they prefer like a white or like solid gray, but make sure it's a solid background. I will also show you guys like what my digitals look like in the beginning of my modeling career to what they look like now, and as you can see, I had to learn and like tailor my digitals to look the most flattering, to be the most I guess appealing to agencies. It's usually going to be like a headshot, quarter length shot, your profiles, and a full length body shot. Some agencies will require you to have like the back of your frame, but that's not too common, but some will, so I would take them just in case. Alright, so after you've done your research, after you've taken your digitals, now it's time to submit. You are going to be submitting your digitals either via the agency's website. Most agencies have like a submission form embedded on their website, so you can submit that way, or you can do your research on Instagram or on the agency's website and find a contact email that accepts submissions, and you could submit your digitals via email. Now in these emails, you want to include your name, you want to include your location, you want to include your contact information, and if you have your measurements, which you need to take your measurements, just get a tape measure and have someone do it for you, or do it yourself. But you want to include your measurements in that email as well. Or nowadays you can send your digitals via Instagram DM. So many agencies are scouting on social media now, and submitting via DM has become a really popular thing. And you may think, these big agencies aren't checking their DMs, but in fact they are. Alright, so we've gone through researching, we've gone through taking your digitals and submitting your digitals. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you're active on social media. I know for me, when I first got into the modeling industry, social media was not this big thing. Like, agencies literally were not asking me, oh, how many followers do you have? Like, they didn't really care. But nowadays, that's kind of like a big deal. They're always asking, how many followers do you have on Instagram? They want to see how active you are on Instagram. They want to see your personality through Instagram. They can't really tell much from your digitals, but if they check out your Instagram, they see a little bit more of your personality. So you want to make sure that you're active on your Instagram. You want to make sure you're active on TikTok, because TikTok is a huge thing now. So many people are blowing up on TikTok and being scouted from TikTok. And A part of being active on Instagram means following these agencies that you're interested in, following these models that you aspire to be like, because you want to see like what kind of content are they posting, who are they following, what agencies are they signed with. You want to be commenting on everybody's photos, just because a lot of times when you're commenting on other people's stuff, that energy is often reciprocated. So if you are actively engaging with other people, they're going to return that energy most of the time. And when you're commenting on these big agencies' photos, they see that, and sometimes they'll like your comment, sometimes they'll respond. But when they see this person like,
oh, this girl has commented under our picture like quite a lot, and her profile picture is kind of pretty, like let's check out her Instagram.
Don't just comment just to comment. Make sure when you're commenting and engaging, you're contributing to the conversation. You're saying something of substance, not just like heart emojis all the time. And show bits of your personality. You know, if you have hobbies, like for instance, I roller skate, so every now and then I'll post a roller skating video. If I'm booked by a client, I make sure I take a lot of behind the scenes photos and I post that to my Instagram. Just little stuff like that. So speaking of hobbies, I know modeling may be your goal and maybe your ultimate like dream, but you want to make sure that you develop hobbies and interests outside of modeling, because ultimately it makes you more marketable and it makes you more, I guess, likable as a model. So if you go in trying to sign with the agency and they're like, oh, what are your interests? Like, what else do you do? And you're like, oh, well, I just like taking pictures. I don't know. They're not gonna be as like excited about having you on board. When I first started out, all I wanted to do was model. Like, I literally had no hobbies. It wasn't until last year, you guys, that I realized I didn't have any hobbies outside of modeling. So I picked up roller skating. I'm about to start pole dancing. I have a YouTube channel. I started a podcast. So I started picking up all of these like side hobbies just to kind of like diversify my interests, diversify myself as a person and as a model, to make yourself more marketable. And a lot of times clients are asking for people who have like certain skills. Like sometimes they'll ask for people who can skateboard, people who can roller skate, people who know how to do backflips and front flips. We've touched on research, we've touched on taking digitals, submitting digitals, being active on social media, developing hobbies. And of course, you want to be building your portfolio. You want to be able to show agencies that you know how to model, that you know how to pose, that you take direction well, and that you can produce good content and good quality photos. I would suggest the first thing that you do is find local photographers in your area that are willing to work with you and help you build your portfolio. You want to pick quality photographers. You don't want to be just working with any and everybody. Like when you first start out, it may not be that serious, but if you're looking for quality images to include in your portfolio to present to these agencies, these images need to be quality. Therefore, you need to pick photographers who have quality work, okay? Quality work. And to make it easier on both yourself and the photographer, practice at home so that they don't have to give you hella direction when you guys meet in person. Practice in the mirror, practice your facials, practice your posing, practice delicate hands. And in the case that you can't find photographers who are willing to work with you for free, pro bono, whatever, ask for their price listings, save up your money, and pay for like photo packages. So some photographers offer photo packages where they'll do like 3 outfits at a time and you get like 5 or 10 of the edits, and the session is like 2 hours long, hair and makeup included. So you can find packages like that. That way you've got 3 different looks in your portfolio already, and you just continue to do that. You continue to do that until an agency is ready and willing to sign you. You are interested in being a certain kind of model. This goes back to the research. Make sure you are researching the kinds of photos that these models are taking. So if you want to be a high fashion, like editorial kind of model, make sure you're taking editorial high fashion type photos. If you want to be more like a commercial print model, make sure you have your commercial headshot on deck. Make sure you're tailoring your portfolio to the kind of model that you want to be, but also don't be exclusive to that niche, because you want to be, again, you want to be a diversified model. So even though you really want to be a commercial model, make sure you throw some editorial shots in there. My next piece of advice to you all would be to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. ready. And by that I mean that the industry is super fast paced. So you're doing all this stuff, you're taking your digitals, you're submitting your digitals, you're being active on social media, and lo and behold, an agency reaches out to you and they're interested in meeting with you, or they're interested in signing you on the spot. You have to be ready. Like, say you live in North Carolina, for instance, just because that's similar to my story, and an agency in New York is ready to sign you, they're ready to see you, they want you to come in for a meeting. You've got to be ready to fly to New York or get to New York in whatever way is feasible for you. You've got to have your money ready if you need to pay for a flight or a bus ticket or what have you. If by chance they want you to go ahead and move to New York and start working already, you got to have your stuff ready. You got to have a plan for like housing or what you would do, like just in case. You've just got to be thinking about this stuff ahead of time so that when it's time for you to go, you can go ahead and go. The biggest thing that I can tell you all is don't get discouraged. You guys, this is a dog eat dog field. It's a dog eat dog career. It's not easy by any means. Well, it may be easy for some people, but for the most part, it's not an easy career. You're gonna have the door shut in your face millions and bajillions of times before you get that one yes. But if you quit before you get that one yes, you will never achieve your dreams. You will never reach that goal, and you're always going to feel some kind of resentment, or you're not going to feel 100% whole because you didn't continue on the pursuit to fulfilling your purpose. If you felt like you took the most amazing digitals and you've had the most amazing photo shoots and you bring this to the table of the agency and they still tell you no, go back to the drawing board. Maybe you need to change up your look. Maybe you need to lose some weight. Maybe you need to gain some weight. Maybe you need to clear up your skin a little bit. Maybe you need to switch up your look. Like, I shaved my head and I feel like that was the turning point for me. I shaved my head and I went blonde, and literally my career did a complete 180. Then I took out the blonde and my career continued to excel. So just consider that you might need to change some things. Don't see these changes as a negative thing, like,
oh, I shouldn't have to change myself, they should just accept me for who I am, blah blah blah.
Maybe you were submitting to agencies in New York. Maybe you should try submitting to agencies in LA or North Carolina or Korea. You just have to try every avenue until you finally get that door open and you finally get that first yes, because that's all it takes for your career to take off from there. So in closing, I just want to say again, do not be discouraged. This is not an easy journey. I was going to tell you, don't give up. If this is something that you really want, what is for you will always be for you, as long as you don't quit and as long as you work for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye!
'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm